Today I'm making this delicious side dish, artichokes in a lemon dill sauce. I'm Nikki and this is Nikki's Modern Mediterranean. To get started on making our artichoke stew, we are gonna clean these big, beautiful artichokes. But before I show you how to do that, I'm gonna cut up our potatoes and carrots and get them ready. So for our potatoes, you can use 3 to 4 potatoes. Idaho I like to use, depending on the size and how many you're gonna use. We're gonna take the whole thing and I'm gonna cut them kind of in triangles. So on different angles, they just look nicer in the stew. And I'm gonna put them in some water so that they don't turn brown while I'm cleaning my artichokes. So on an angle, and then turn your knife, another angle, that's a nice big piece of potato. So we're gonna cut these up. Get nice big chunks, stick them in that water, and then we're gonna cut our carrot. And now, you should use for this about 2 medium-sized carrots. But look at this massive carrot that I found at work. This is crazy, but this is from our restaurant, so you probably won't be able to find this at the grocery store. So I'm just gonna use this 1 carrot, cut these little ends off here, and you wanna leave this in big chunks as well. So I'm just gonna do it on an angle. Wow, this one is hard to cut. And we're just gonna leave them about a little less than 1 inch or about 1 inch pieces. Cut those. So we'll leave that there and I'm just gonna put this aside. So I'll leave this here. And now it's time to clean the star of our show, our artichokes. Here's how we're gonna clean and cut these big, beautiful artichokes. So, artichokes are a little bit intimidating. They're really pretty. I love to use them on centerpieces with flowers because they're just so beautiful, but they're also really delicious. So, if you carry an artichoke from here, you're gonna get pricked by these little spikes on here. So I recommend holding them this way, and we're gonna start cleaning it by taking a little paring knife, and we have to peel back all of our leaves. So you start pulling the leaves right kind of where they snap. They'll naturally snap off. So you're just gonna go one by one all the way around and start pulling all these leaves off. I know this is time consuming, but it's well worth it when you taste how delicious they are. So you wanna naturally snap them so that they're still a little bit part of this green part. So we're gonna go all the way around and pull these off. Again, make sure you're holding them from the end part kind of near the stem, because if you hold them this way, you're gonna get pricked. So we're gonna pull this off all the way around. I don't know if this is therapeutic or just too time consuming, but I kind of like it. So we're just gonna go around 1 leaf at a time. So now that we've pulled off all of these leaves and there's no more prickly part on the top, we're gonna take these, put them on the side, and we're gonna cut off the top of this because the meat part is right down here. So we're just gonna cut off this top part that kind of looks like a flower. So now you have this left, right? So now we're gonna work on our stem. So I'm gonna cut off the end of the stem because you can't eat that. And then we're gonna have to try to start peeling back the stem carefully because we don't wanna break it, but we wanna peel it off so that we can get to the meat and the delicious part. So I'm just gonna slowly peel that off. And I'm just doing this little by little all the way around because I wanna get to the softer part of the stem because that's the part we're gonna be able to eat. So we have that. The stem looks good. I'm just gonna peel a little bit more here. And now we have to get these leaves off. So this is a little bit hard, but we're gonna try to just take our knife and carefully pull you're gonna cut the outer layers of it. You don't wanna cut the white part because that's what we're gonna be eating. So I'm just gonna go around, pull that off, and then I have to go take my knife right down here and pull those off. So I'm gonna take it right at the end of the stem and kind of angle it to get the green part off. But I don't wanna cut too much of the white. These are so flavorful. Love this recipe, but we gotta get all of our green stems off. I'm gonna cut this just right in half. So So I'm gonna carefully go down the center of the stem and right in the middle. So now we have our artichokes right in half. I like them in bigger pieces in the stew. I think they look really pretty. But we have this middle part that we can't eat, so we gotta get that out. So I don't really know the correct terminology. It kind of looks like hair. So we're gonna kind of cut right down the edge of that line. Do you see how it's all falling out? We gotta get all of that out so that we can cook them. So we gotta get that. So if you take your knife and kind of go almost to the end of the artichoke, then you'll be able to pull out these kind of purpley leaves. You don't want those either because they're tough and you don't want to eat them. And artichokes are so delicate. Even though they look this beautiful outer shell, the inside that you're actually eating, which we have here, is so delicate, it's gonna turn brown quickly. So I have some lemon water on the side here that I'm gonna place these artichokes in while I'm cleaning the rest of them. So I just have a couple cups of water and some lemon juice. So you're gonna put them in the lemon juice while you're waiting, and we're cleaning the rest. So that looks great. This artichoke is ready for the water. Put that down. Our artichokes are cleaned, they're soaking in our lemon water, and we're gonna go to the stove to get started with our cooking. To get started on making our stew, we're gonna take a nice big pot, high heat, and I'm gonna do about 4 tablespoons of olive oil, enough to cover the pan. We're gonna heat up the olive oil, and we're gonna saute our shallots first. So I have here 3 medium-sized shallots, nicely chopped, and I'm gonna saute them right in the olive oil. We're gonna saute these until they are translucent before we add in our artichoke. So now that our onions have cooked, I'm gonna add in our artichokes. So I'm gonna take them out of our lemon water, toss them in. I'm just gonna give them a little saute. So now we've sauteed our artichokes, and I'm gonna add in the rest of our vegetables. So I have our carrots, our potatoes. I'm gonna take these out of the water. So we're gonna put about 3 cups of water in this. You want enough to cover the vegetables. So for my big giant pieces of carrots that I have here, I'm gonna need a little bit more water, but I'm gonna add that in a second. I'm gonna put 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice. So I'm adding a little bit more water because I want enough to cover the vegetables. So that looks great. It's really gonna depend on the size of your vegetables and what pot you use. So now we have our water and our lemon juice, but I'm gonna add some chicken base. So you can easily omit this option. I like to add the chicken base for more flavor, so I'm gonna dilute this right into the broth. 3 teaspoons of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Bring it to a boil, and then we'll cover it to simmer for the rest of the cooking process. We're gonna let this cook for about 25 minutes until it's fork tender. It's been about 25 minutes, time to test our vegetables. And we're just gonna turn off the heat. I'm gonna take a fork. Oh, that looks great. So we can put our fork right through our vegetables, which means they're ready. So next we're gonna put up back to high heat, and I'm gonna add in our 2 cups of peas. So I just used frozen peas, and I'm just gonna add them into that so that they can cook for a couple minutes. And while our peas are cooking, we're gonna do 1/4 cup of cold water and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put in our cornstarch slurry and kind of stir the pot around with my hands as opposed to stirring it. So we'll put this right in here. I'm gonna kind of move our pot around. It smells delicious. Now that we've brought this to a boil, I'm gonna turn off the heat. This looks great. I'm gonna add in our dill. So this is about a half a cup of dill, chopped. Just gonna do a little carefully, kind of move that around, kind of move this, and we're ready to serve. Our artichoke stew is ready. In Greece, we call this Agginares a la Polita, and it's one of my favorites. Can't wait to try it. So I'm gonna pour a little bit here. Get some carrot, potato, and of course artichoke. Look at that, yummy. Cut into this. This is so good. For the full recipe, visit nikkiclekis.com, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.